We are on video.
Okay, so now we are back recording. Thanks everybody for your patience. And 3, 2, and we're back. And now we're here to talk about our first experience at Dragon Con. All of us have been to Dragon Con, obviously, many times. And but going back to my first was in 1994. It was only the third convention I'd ever been to in my entire life. I had been to I was 22, I think.
Wow, that must have
And
been a long time ago.
it was a long time ago. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Well, I've been going to Dragon Con a long time. But and even then it was much, much smaller. It was only in 3 hotels back then. But the cosplay was still strong. And I was amazed at that. Also, it still was easy to get lost with the 3 hotels. The fact that it wasn't at a convention center, the fact that you always had there was way too many things going on that we could participate in at the same time. And so that was tricky. It was overwhelming, but I loved every second of it. I loved that fact that there was so much to do that I wanted to come back and do some more, do it again, do stuff that I hadn't done before, and it was an amazing experience. And I've been going ever since, consistently for 20. So what are we at now? 27 years, 28. Ooh, goodness gracious.
Wait, we have to
Um,
math?
No,
yeah, I
it
know.
wasn't. Hey, it was not on the job application for this.
No, it was not. I would never do that to anybody because I'd have to check the results, and I can't do that. So I can't do that. Sue, what about you? What was your first experience at Dragon Con like?
My first Dragon Con was sort of a last minute decision. It was 2010, and it's actually because of the Scapecast that Faulkner was podcasting on at the time, because that show constantly talked about Dragon Con. And I was like, I've heard I should go to this thing. I've heard about this con. And I was talking to my brother, and he had the same idea. He was like, I've heard about Dragon Con. I want to go to Dragon Con. So I want to say June, we decided to go to the con that I think it was mostly in August that year. And I have been back ever since. It was an immediate like recognition of, oh, this is where my people are. I had purchased my Eternal membership for the 2012 con, so it only took me 2 times before I
Wow.
knew I needed it.
Lucky. That's when it was mildly affordable.
Yeah, I purchased it with a tax return, so it was like I never actually saw the money.
Nice.
That's even safer. Never in your pocket.
Exactly.
Nice.
But it was a few years later I started getting an attending pro badge. First I was a fan panelist, then I got an attending pro badge. And I guess last year technically I was also a volunteer, so I have been around the block. That's wrong with Dragon Con.
Next, you'll be a track director, and that. No way.
I mean, there is one track that I would take if offered.
Right.
Just saying.
Interesting.
Can you guess what it might be?
Wow. Wow.
Now, when I went, one of the reasons why Dragon Con came to my attention is because I just moved to the Atlanta area. Were you local or did you come from elsewhere?
Oh, me? No, I'm a New Yorker.
Gotcha. So, so you had to travel among everything else too.
Yeah, it's travel, but it's not like difficult travel, if that makes any sense. I think the flight's about 2.5 hours. Anything closer than Orlando is kind of easy air travel for the Northeast, especially with 3 international airports close by.
Absolutely.
So it's not like flying out to D23 every year.
Yeah. For a lot of reasons, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, yes.
Jen, what about you? What was your first Dragon Con? When was it, and what was it like?
So my first one was also in 2010. My best friend Amy lives in Jersey. I'm in San Antonio. She harassed me for a full year, and I kept going back and forth on it because it was going to be the first time I was traveling to an out-of-state convention by myself. But I guess like a month before I finally, made the decision and went. We got there on a Friday. That was the nightmare year where we were in registration line for over 5.5 hours in the direct sun.
Oh,
That
Like
used to be
wrapped
every
around the
year.
building. Yeah.
That
Well,
used to
according
be-
to other
that used
people
to be
we were in
every
line
year.
with, they were telling us it was the worst that it had been in a long
Yeah,
time.
it got really bad around that time.
Because like
Yeah,
we had
then-
there was no water anywhere,
No.
nothing like that. After a couple hours, then volunteers started bringing water because people had started passing out. So that wasn't a great introduction, but like after the 5.5 hours, I got my badge. We went over to, I think we went to the Hilton first, and almost immediately I was just like, holy crap, I'm home. Like I feel so normal, and I never feel normal. So it was just like, I am the most normal person here. This is amazing. And it really, to me, is like one of the best, besides Regline, was one of the best experiences you could have for your first con, because I really got to experience a little bit of everything, and seeing just how much after the Walk of Fame closes that the celebrities get to go nerd out as well. Like Colin Ferguson was from Eureka at the time, was drinking with us at the bar, and I can't remember who exactly it was. Somebody was, I think Colin Trevorrow was there getting coffee with us every morning. So it was just really cool. It was really cool to see just how excited everybody got, like whether you're attendee or a celebrity. And I have gone every year since. I am kicking myself for not committing to an eternal badge back then. But
because you always probably went, "Ah, I'm not going to be going for another
no,
15,
I was
20
like,
years.
I
Yeah.
think in 2010 it was maybe, I can't remember if it was 500 or 1,000
I
at
think
that
it was
time.
1,000.
It was 1,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. I'd
I
have to
got
go
it.
for 10 years to make it worth it. And now I've been going for over 10 years, and I am an idiot for not doing it. So, but yeah, been going ever since. And like, when we couldn't go to con a few years ago, when they had to go virtual, we threw a little mini Dragon Con at our house and put all the panels up on all the tracks channels up on different TVs in the house. And I had the schedule for everybody so we could all pick and choose. And our friends over at Shonuff Karaoke, who used to do the Hilton karaoke, they even set up like a private karaoke party in a private event room on Facebook. So those of us who, used to go hang out with them could like jump in and do a karaoke song on Facebook Live. And then, go back to watching panels and stuff on the track channels. So it's family, it's home. It's the best con I've ever been to.
That's
And
awesome.
There's a reason I'm willing, to commit like $2,500 to $3,000 to attend every year.
Yeah.
It's not cheap coming from out of town, especially.
Well, I'm also like, your hotel's not cheap.
No.
Flights I can usually, I get them on sale. We can fly Southwest from Texas, 2 free bags.
Yeah.
We got to fly at like 5:00 in the morning to get a direct, but it's worth it. I get there and then I'm raring to go.
That's the real cost of Dragon Con, is your hotel room.
The hotel.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because as I'm sure other people on this call do as well, as someone who attends a lot of conventions, even the highest price of a Dragon Con membership is nothing compared to your New York Comic Con weekend pass or your San Diego weekend pass. I think the last Star Wars Celebration I went to was $350 for a general admission weekend pass.
Wow.
It's out of control.
Well,
You're-
isn't like Celebration only 3 days?
I think it might have been 4. It might have been
Yeah.
3. I don't remember. it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago now, which might as well be a million years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
It was in the before times.
It was
Yeah.
2019. I don't know.
It was BC.
But
Before the
It-
dark
it-
times.
Yes.
it really is your hotel room. That's where your biggest expense is going to come, even if you're flying in.
Yeah, and on a local level, I mean, I haven't not stayed at a hotel in probably 10 years now. So even though the option is there, I want because I'm usually, in the comic dealer room, the comic book artist alley, and I'm a guest, I usually want to stay there because lugging my stuff back and forth just isn't an option for me. So and you do experience the con. I mean, that's the only way I feel like you can really experience it too, is fully.
You gotta
is to
immerse yourself.
Stay there, to stay there.
You gotta go in on 5 days before the end, and then Monday afternoon when you leave, you're like, I've been on another planet.
Yep.
What's-
You're-
I wonder what's
Oh,
happening out in the
come
real
on.
world.
That-
Exactly.
Man,
I don't want to
that-
know what's happening out in the real world. Leave me alone.
But it's
that
people
drop
don't understand
afterwards.
this. It's something we tell the newbies all the time. You don't want to stay off site if you can help it, or if you can afford to stay on site, because it's not like your standard convention. The show floor doesn't close. That's not a concept at Dragon Con.
Yep.
It literally goes around the clock.
Exactly. It's like no other con out there.
It's a marathon.
It is. It completely is. But it's
And
it's
newbies
interesting.
fail that because they think it's a sprint,
Yes,
Mhm.
very
Yeah.
much so. And they try to get it all done all at once.
and you can't.
No.
There's no way.
And we keep on telling them on the show, and I'm sure you guys do at your newbie sessions, pace it out. Don't try to do it all in your first day. 'Cause you're not
will
gonna-
be miserable.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you'll be going, there's 3.5 more days to go. Oh my God, or
And you've
sometimes
only
longer.
seen 2 hotels.
Exactly.
And you should pace yourself on everything. Like I try to wait until at least Friday morning before I have my first hangover. Like you really got to be careful.
That's good for you. That's good.
It must
Although
have been 2019, Michael, that somebody went down right outside the room we were running the tours from on Thursday afternoon.
Yep.
Ooh,
They were partying hard already.
Wow.
Wait,
I mean, it was
Did they go
before
in on
6
Wednesday
p.m.
night?
I don't.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Good question.
I remember.
Unashamedly, they were an object lesson for the newbies in the room. We're like, don't be that guy.
Don't be that person.
Oh God, the time we were trying to find a room to do the ESO network recording, and Darren and I were standing over by where the blood drive is, up in the upper level of the Marriott, and the puppetry
Back
track
when it
is
was
over there. Yeah, and the puppetry track is there now and everything. So we were standing there, and it says, "So do you think we should maybe do our recording right here?" All of a sudden, this woman burst out of the room, ran to the garbage can right behind us, and was like that heaving, right? And Darren looked at me, and
No.
Darren's like, "No, we're not doing the
No,
recording
I
here."
don't think so.
No.
Wow. Michael, what about your first time at Dragon Con?
My first time at Dragon Con was 2009, back when the Eternal membership was $500. It was still too expensive for me. And we had the same thought. It was like, are we going to be doing this for 10 or so years? Probably not, because the first convention my wife and I had gone to was a year earlier. It was a Farscape convention in Burbank, and we're like, it's not something we'll do every year. My brother-in-law, who's really more like a brother anyway, invited us out to Atlanta for Dragon Con. He said, don't worry about rooms or anything else, you guys. I have a room already set up. You guys can stay with me. You just have fun. And so we went to Dragon Con that year, and it's really a blur from that point forward. Like we got there, we stood in the line from hell to get our badges, and then it's Monday. Wait, we're done. It's at that point we're like, we're coming back. We're doing this again. And the following year, we actually moved down here to Atlanta, and it's just been a regular, year after year thing, to the point that hanging out with the former Scapecasters and with people like who are on this call here, the family of Dragon Con, the geek family. I started doing panels, and I started doing all this other kind of stuff, and just like Sue picked up the Eternal, they're the attending pro, and just like, I'm gonna keep doing this because it's fun. It's so enjoyable just to keep every year doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to have this thing where every time I would come back from Dragon Con, because Michelle, my partner, has never gone to Dragon Con, but she always asks me, like, how was it? And every year I say the same thing. It was the best con I've ever been to. And it just keeps getting better and better and better in different ways. But last year was weird, but it was still the best.
Last year felt like a throwback.
Last year was like 2005.
Yeah, pretty much.
There are even years like you come like Friday, Saturday into Sunday, and you're like, I don't know if I want to do this again. There's a moment sometimes where it's like, I don't know, and then come Monday, it's like, no, it can't be over. And a week later, you're like, oh, where am I signing up for the next year already? Come on, give me my applications and everything.
For me, it's just like, I am not packing this much next year. And then the next year hits. Why do I have 10 costumes again?
It's even to the point where you get home and you don't unpack your bags for a while. Even the con bag is still set, ready to go. And it's like, I don't want to unpack because that means Dragon Con 2021 is early over.
And
man.
you're just going to have to repack it again in a few
Right.
months.
Okay, hold on. Gotta do the laundry though. Come on, let's be honest
Right.
about that.
Yeah, that's the caveat. The laundry goes straight in the washer.
Those clothes are just gonna fester.
The rest of it we can Febreze. And just walk around smelling like vodka.
But yeah, vodka in a spray bottle is your friend at Dragon Con for costume.
Mike, what about you? What was your first Dragon Con?
My first Dragon Con unofficially was pretty much 2004 because I took William to the parade for the first time because he was 5 years old at the time. And I had just moved to Atlanta the year before, and people had been telling me, oh, you got to go to Dragon Con. You got to go to Dragon Con. And I was like, what is this Dragon Con you speak of and everything? And I started working for a newspaper, and one of the reporters who did it said, go to take your son to the parade. It'll be your intro to it. It's like no other parade you've ever been to. And so I said, okay, not a problem. And I've been to parades my whole life. I've even been to the Macy's parade in New York. And I was like, gone to see the balloons and everything. And I was, it's going to be, something fun, but on smaller scale. Took William to the parade. We were driving up Andrew Young Boulevard, and he was in the back seat in his car seat at the time. And he looked at me and said, Dad, what kind of parade is this? As he's pointing to two stormtroopers walking up the street. And it's like,
for you.
Exactly it. So we actually and loved the parade and everything. So I said, the next year I'll come to it. We'll finally buy tickets to go inside. And so 2005 was the first year we actually went in, and we've been going ever since until probably 2010. I paid for it, and starting in 2011, I started becoming an attending professional, and then from there on, it was either attending professional or media, and because we were starting to cover it as ESO. And then probably about 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, I've been a guest, and I've been a guest ever since. And it's an honor each time to be able to do it. And each year I'm going to go, this might be my last year. I'm starting to feel older, and, looking at all these kids dressed up in costumes, people in their 20s, like stuff like that. And it's amazing. Then come October, November, I'm starting to think, oh, when's Dragon Con? I'm ready for it. I'm going to. Even talking, because we're eventually going to be leaving Atlanta, and we're already talking about, telling Judy, we're going to come back for Dragon Con each year, aren't we? Aren't we? Come on. Huh? Stuff like that. And she's like, yes, that's our Labor Day, honey. It's okay. And everything. But it's neat because each, like you said, each year is completely different. And this is what 2000, this is going to be my 17th con or 18th con going in. And it was awesome to see William grow up with this. Each year he would, go with me or go with his mom. And it was awesome. He started getting into cosplay. First time him and I did it, we dressed as the Blues Brothers. And then a year, like the next year, he dressed as John Cena and, and stuff like that. But I couldn't see him, so it was kind of hard. Nobody saw him. But then he started dressing as Oogie Boogie and getting tons of pictures, and he just grew into it, which was really awesome. And he then started going with his friends, and he still goes with his friends now, and it's awesome. And he's going to be 23 this year, so it's pretty weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That makes me feel all kinds of old. Thank you.
I know. Just wanted to do that purposely, Mike.
And Darren, I think you're the only one here who would probably challenge me for as long as you've been going to Dragon Con. When was your first year?
My first year was the first year.
There you go. See, I knew that.
And I remember very little of it, so don't ask details. Not that it was a party con, but it was I distinctly remember being at a hotel party until way too late for my age, because that was 87. I was still in high school. So it was a trip. It was a trip. But I'm a local Atlantan, and Dragon Con became one of the back then, first year. It was a baby show. Let's go see what this is about. We'll go on Saturday. Sure, let's go. And we didn't buy badges. We just hung out in the hotel because they didn't have much security and they weren't kicking people out of hotels and things like that. That wasn't a concern back then. We didn't go into anything that was badge restricted, but we were just hanging out because a lot of our friends were also there who had badges and they were going to stuff. And we figured while they were on breaks, we could just hang out. So we did. And we wound up in a hotel room, and I think I left at 4 a.m. Maybe.
Darren, and you were only 10 years old at the time?
I was a baby, sir. And that's the story we're sticking to.
So I think, though, we can all say probably that the first year we went, we were not prepared.
Oh no,
right?
Not at all.
No.
No. So I'm sure with the newbies group, you guys get this all the time. We get it on the podcast. How can people prepare for Dragon Con? And as much as they can. Obviously, it's something so massive, and I think it's a special thing that people have to find out for themselves, right? Have to discover for themselves in a lot of ways. But there are a lot of tips and things that are good to know before going in. And I think the most important one right now is that it's never too early to plan, right? It's never too early, because especially if you're talking about getting a hotel room and getting your badge and getting out travel arrangements and all that kind of stuff, the particulars, it's best to get that stuff out of the way as fast as possible, especially with the hotels. I mean, right now, none of the host hotels are quote unquote available. There will be rooms opening up here and there.
But there's handy dandy Facebook groups that help connect you with people
Absolutely.
trying to offload their rooms.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. There are ways that rooms can be transferred with certain hotels, and they don't make it easy. Let's face it. I think one of the hotels are probably if I'm being honest, the hotels are the worst part of Dragon Con for me, because of the way they do things. It's just, they don't make it easy for anybody because they don't have to.
Yep.
They're always going to sell out. They're always going to sell out every year.
And that's one thing that sticks in my craw, is that customer service kind of leaves. They think they don't have to be, not that people are outrightly rude, but I've run into a couple of people at the hotels who work for the hotels, and they certainly weren't going out of the way to be nice to people. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
You've got to have your business stuff together. You've got to know, this is my registration number. This is my credit card number, blah, blah, blah. You got to have all that stuff together. You got to stay on top of it. Right. They will cancel your registration in a heartbeat if you give them a reason to. And sometimes
Yes.
not even if you give them a reason to. It's
No,
just true.
exactly.
Yeah,
Stuff-
sometimes
stuff
it
happens.
mysteriously happens.
Yeah.
Every so often, every couple weeks, something will hit my brain, and I'll be like, "Let me just check and make sure my hotel reservation
Yeah,
is
I check
still
every
like that." And you have to. Unfortunately, there was a year where I did, and I'm glad I did because it wasn't there. So, we got it straightened out. But it is.
Starting to stress me out.
I'm going to the
the way-
Marriott website right as we speak.
Yeah, it's the way of the dragon. It's the way of the dragon.
Well, but hey, there's been years where a computer glitch has
Yeah.
canceled like over 200 people's reservations. And then the hotel's response was, we can put you up in one that's like 10 miles down the road.
Yeah, that's what they did to us at the Hyatt. They were like, "We can put you in Hyatt Buckhead." I'm like, "Absolutely not."
Right.
Yeah, there was also a year that they didn't say anything to anybody, and
Yes.
the Hyatt was under construction. And you showed up, and they said, "We have a room for you 2 miles away."
Yeah.
No,
No.
you have a room for me here because I'm on 18 panels this weekend.
No,
I think
totally.
Now that being said, sometimes if you are a fly by the seats of your pantser, you can get lucky with some last minute reservations.
Sure.
But if you're flying into town, I would not take my chances on that.
And don't go to Airbnb.
Yep. I was
No,
just about to say,
no.
don't
Never
do that.
Airbnb.
No matter how good of a deal it looks like.
And
or
no
how
matter
many
how good of
people
an
it says it's
experience
twice.
you've had in the past.
Exactly.
Because there is,
No.
even though the corporate Airbnb tries to crack down on it, people who list on Airbnb for DragonCon weekend often don't know what it is, realize what it is after you've booked, cancel your reservation, and then relist at a much higher price.
Oh, very
I
much
wouldn't,
so.
even I wouldn't even trust a superhost.
No. And don't trust the pictures you see in those things too, because a lot of those are fake. We've had friends of ours who've actually, they were supposed to stay over by Little 5 Points, and they got to the address. It was an empty lot, literally.
Yeah, no.
And
Any
everything.
other vacation, go ahead, book Airbnb. Don't do it for DragonCon.
No,
And just like with any big city, there's some sections in town you probably don't want to stay in. So do your homework.
exactly. There,
Read the reviews of the hotel, because if there's, especially in the downtown area, I mean, I think it was the Barclay Hotel up until a few years ago before they remodeled. Like, people told you in the reviews exactly what it was like once you stepped out that door.
oh yeah. Or, or I had friends of mine who stayed at the Motel 6 that is right over by I think it's over by the Hilton. And you have the highway literally right there.
Right
And-
there by your hotel room.
Yeah, literally outside your window, you have the connector 75 and 85, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't get quiet.
It's your
And-
very own white noise machine, Mike.
Oh, exactly. Or just imagine it's the ocean. Yeah, that's it.
And even though Dragon Con takes place in 5 hotels, the America's Mart Center, a huge area,
Okay, my reservation's safe. I just looked.
it doesn't take but maybe like a few steps to end up in a bad part of town.
Yeah.
You want to
So-
Uber
So right,
or
so
Lyft or whatever.
it is very much recommended that you do stay as close as possible to the con.
Well,
Or,
Jen,
you know-
Jen ran into that last year.
Okay, I wasn't in a dangerous area.
No.
No, but
Uh,
you were so close, but yet so far.
I was only I was on the other side of the aquarium.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah, I've
hotel was
stayed in
nice.
a hotel there.
Yeah, I stayed at a Hyatt. I think it was a Hyatt Place. Very nice. Staff was great. And we were going to the aquarium party as part of Dragon Con. So I was like, hey, we can just go across the street, go to the party, come back to our room. But I didn't take into account that because of all the different events downtown, including Dragon Con, that, once everything started going, that an Uber, which would normally should be a 5-minute ride, became 15 to 25 minutes, depending on the time of day that I was getting it. Whereas sometimes you're like, I can walk there quicker, and we could walk there in 15 minutes. So, but then, once you get to con, then you're like sweaty. Wasn't going to do that in a costume. And then if I walked back to the hotel, then it was just like, I have no desire to go back now. I want to lay down. I want to watch TV. I I'm not ready to go deal with this again because of how long the travel took. I missed a lot of stuff. Like it's doable. And I know a lot of people who do it and it doesn't bother them. But when you're somebody's used to being right in the thick of it for the entirety of the over decade you've been going, it's jarring to switch to that.
I think a lot of people don't know about all the events that are happening in Atlanta that weekend. I think it's just Dragon Con. There's a major college football game that goes on that weekend.
Yep.
There's Black Gay Pride that goes on that weekend. There's the Decatur Book Festival that goes on that weekend, and there's Dragon Con. That's a ton of people in a small downtown corridor.
And that's
that's
not even
Not
including.
just us.
That's not even including if there's a baseball game, or
Right.
and that gets even more so.
This
The
is one of
last
the big
time-
reasons we started the newbies group too, was because it's a convention, which people are used to conventions if they've been on the circuit, but it's not like a convention. It's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
It's got many more people, many more tricks and tips to learn about. And the biggest thing I'll tell somebody is, if you're coming to Dragon Con, ask the questions. Like there is no dumb question in the newbies group. And we say
Right.
that over and over and over again. It doesn't matter how many times we've heard it. Ask the question, because somebody's going to pipe in, and whether it be a local or someone who's a veteran of many years, we're going to give you the answers. That's what they're there for.
Exactly. And also remember, we are up on Facebook Live, and if anyone on Facebook wants to get in touch with us, please ask questions. This is your time to be able to ask the newbie guys, really, truthfully, or any of us, any question about the con. Because, this is, almost like they're sitting up on the stage right now and, waiting for you guys to ask the questions. And sometimes it's like pulling teeth, but you know what? This is the chance you guys have. You have a captive audience, and, we're here to help you. And we're willing to believe you too, so it's even better.
And if we don't
We're
know
just
the answer
missing
right,
Muppets for the early late show.
and if we don't know the answer right now, we will get it for you.
Or make it up.
as soon as we can.
A
Or make
big-
it man.
A big tip
Ah.
for newbies I would have though is like if it's your first time or you've only been going a couple times and you haven't learned all the secret passageways and shortcuts, there is a map. There's maps that people start posting closer to con, and the Facebook groups shows you the different hamster trails, sky tunnels that we can use to get from hotel to hotel. There's a way to take one of those that goes to a parking garage that gives you a shortcut to the Sheridan where registration and some of the tracks are, that lets you avoid the hill from hell that will burn your calves out on your first day there, and then you don't want to walk for the rest of the con.
You
Do
could be-
everything you can. Don't let anyone tell you to take the hill to the Sheridan. Don't listen. They are trying to ruin you.
Oh, trust me,
Unless-
trying
unless you-
Reddit.
trying to get from the Sheraton to the Westin in 5 minutes for a panel.
No,
No.
you can't do it.
No.
I've done it.
Yeah,
I've done it through the food court, but not that hill.
No.
Fitbit was screaming, but I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
We can
Back to
down the
back
hill's fine.
panels, and when somebody comes to
Downhill's
talk
fine.
to you afterwards when you're in the Sheridan, and then you have to
No.
go to the West
You gotta
End.
go. You gotta teleport.
I was
I've got 2
sweating
minutes and I'm out
through
the
that
door.
next panel.
No.
Oh,
Like
bad.
that's why you bring the Tiger Balm, the Icy Hot, and the Epsom salts in your luggage.
Yeah,
Because the
I
CVS is
bring
going
that
to
stuff.
run out.
That going up that hill, it doesn't. Nothing works except for filling the bathtub up with a lot of ice every night, screaming in pain.
Everything hurts and I'm dying, and it's only Wednesday.
we started this with preparation, right? And that's another one of the things you can start doing now in preparation for Dragon Con is walking.
Oh, very much so.
Walk.
Walking or Stairmasters or something, so you could be ready
walking
for the
and
hills.
walking on hills.
Yes, very much so. We
Make
got
sure
a
you have
comment.
comfortable shoes as well.
We have a comment over on Facebook. Our friend Stephen Fowler actually is saying, "Hi, Steve. Looking at the possibility of bringing my 4 boys, aged 12 to 21, and
Oh.
haven't had the pleasure of attending before. What is the best day for families?
Sunday.
Sunday?
Yes.
Sunday is
probably
family
the
day.
best day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saturday is the day of the parade.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, with the parade comes thousands and thousands of other people.
Yeah, Saturday's
which
the
makes
most
it very, it's the most crowded. Even last year when they didn't sell day passes for Saturday, it still was crazy to navigate the area. So Sunday is a good day.
No, that's
and
good.
I would say Dragon Con is a family friendly event,
During the day.
but once you get to 7 p.m., you're going to want
Every
to
year it
probably
gets earlier.
evacuate.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
does,
there's
it does.
also people who do push it all day long.
Yeah, that's when you
so-
start seeing the electrical tape and items not
You're
covered.
going to see a lot of thong costumes. You're going to see a lot of bikini costumes. You're going to see things that you as a parent might be more uncomfortable for your 12-year-old to see. The 21-year-old is going to be fine, I guarantee you.
Well-
But the 12-year-old might be like, Daddy, what's that? And then there you go. Now
Exactly.
you're in that conversation.
There's another thing to note with that age range is that anyone who is it 15 or older? I know it's the age you can get a driver's permit.
That's
in
15.
Georgia.
Most states 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Corners.
I don't know the rules in the South. So 15 and over can go around Dragon Con by themselves. Under 15 needs to be accompanied by an adult at all times.
Yes.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
That's true. Because we had that trouble with William because he wanted to go off with his friends and he got security grabbed him. And, and it was just like, is this your kid? I've never seen him before in the end of my life, officer. So
Depends what he do.
exactly. Tamara Miller actually asked, how do you get around in a wheelchair?
There's
the
a great service at Dragon called their disability services, and they will be able to help you out with so much. Like a lot of people don't ask the question of what can you do for me, and they can do a lot for you. That's one of the things they
as
can
soon
do.
as you
They're-
get there.
Yeah.
They are very helpful.
Yep.
And they have a table right around the corner from registration in the Sheridan.
Mhm.
They also
The
have
only other thing
one.
to
Oh, go ahead.
sorry
No.
to be aware of when you're navigating if you're using any kind of mobility device, not just a wheelchair, is elevators get crowded.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
but
Eh.
the rule is to let people who need them on the elevators first. That is a Dragon Con rule. So
It
if you
is.
find yourself in that situation, stand your ground and be loud about it. And if
Yep.
people aren't letting you on the elevator, go get either hotel staff or a Dragon Con volunteer, and they
Yep.
will get you on that elevator.
I've actually
Right.
been in the basement of the Hyatt, and the door opened and it was full, and there was a woman in a wheelchair who needed to get on. It's like, everybody out. No
Yep.
one's in a wheelchair. Everybody out. Let this nice lady on. That's what
That's-
you have to do at the con. We're a community. We're a family. We have to help people out. When obviously you have two working legs, they might be sore, they might be screaming, you might be drunk, but you can walk up a flight of stairs if you need to, or stumble, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and for the most part,
Exactly.
it's a good community of people. But sometimes people's brains just leave their heads. So if
They
you
turn
see
off.
something,
Yeah.
say something, help out your fellow congoer.
Exactly. Swan Wild actually posted that there is a map handed out by disability service groups members that show maps to use with wheelchairs and
Well,
scooters.
that's handy.
Because there is that one walkway from the food court at Peachtree Center to the Hyatt, and it has stairs, and you have to get a staff member to do that lift for you. So if you can avoid that, because
I think it's easier to like go through the Marriott from the food court. if you're
exactly,
in a
it's
wheelchair, as opposed to waiting on someone in the Hyatt.
exactly. So, but yeah, there's definitely walkarounds around, and the folks at Disability Services are great, and they have multiple
They are.
locations.
Yep.
So definitely take advantage of that. And even if you have a mental disability or a physical disability of some kind, go to Disability
Or
Services.
an anxiety disorder.
Exactly, exactly.
I've used disability service for years because of a panic disorder that I have. and
Exactly.
they-
Judy
Not
has
Not all disabilities are visual. or
Exactly.
visible,
Yep.
rather.
Judy has epilepsy, and she needs to get it because if she gets too stressed or anything, she'll have a seizure. And
So if there's anything you need, if there's any accommodation that you think you might need or would be helpful, go talk to Disability Services.
And they also have a Facebook group. You can join ahead of con, and the people who help run the track are in there to answer questions as well. You can get a lot of information before you ever set foot in Atlanta.
And
Yeah.
advice from other people who are in wheelchairs.
Exactly. We have one of our members of ESO, Dr. Scott Figuet, needs to use a scooter to get around Dragon Con, and he has
And I've been
had
meaning
issues.
to talk to him about that because the last time the flames on the back of it were a bit too much.
Yeah, well, I thought it looked pretty cool, truthfully. And he's
Yeah,
and he kept on going. Wait till we get to this baby up to 88 miles an hour. So
I know, but he burned those poor girls at the blood drive.
I know.
Swan just added that an attendee is the one who prints the maps out and hands them out. And the Facebook group is under DragonCon Disability Services Group.
Yay,
Fantastic.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, one
that
thing you'll
is
find
also-
about this. One thing you'll find about this con is it is by the fans and for the fans. So a lot of the things that happen at the con are driven by somebody who says, "I
We
need a
need
thing.
this."
I need
Yeah.
a thing to happen," and they make it happen. We
Yeah,
actually were surprised. Was it last year, Sue, with the fan made maps that were just so detailed and intricate, and they're about the size of your badge, so you just
Yeah.
tack it onto your badge and carry it around.
That's
Which-
how we
which
know
is
the
really awesome.
shortcuts. It's
Those
because a
were
fan
a
made it.
swag and seek item, I believe.
Yes. And exactly. And one of the things going back to disability services, you guys with the newbie tours offer a tour for disability individuals.
Yeah, the rolling
Yeah.
tours.
Yep. And that's wonderful that you guys do that and everything.
I would hope that you have some kind of electrical wheelchair, though. I would not imagine doing this con in a manual wheelchair.
Oh,
would be
God, no.
a good thing.
Ugh.
There are just
No.
too many hills, I think, for that.
Well, either that or your arms will be like,
or you're gonna be jacked. You're gonna be jacked. That's what you're gonna be.
after this weekend, definitely. Dominic Miller actually asked, back to the aquarium party, is there a separate ticket for that too? And then will be there more info
Yes.
on it?
There is 2 separate tickets for it. There is a general admission, and then there is a VIP. The VIP is always limited, although last year both levels were limited. Can't remember what the GA goes for, but the VIP goes for around 100. And
So you know where Jen's gonna be at the aquarium
Yeah.
party.
So last year it popped up on the Georgia Aquarium website around April, I believe, because I found it randomly and was like, purchase. But it didn't pop up on the. It wasn't announced by the con till I think 3 or 4 weeks later. So that is one way you can do it. You can be nosy like me and just pop around and try to find it. But between April and June is when I would expect it to be announced that the tickets are on sale. It takes place Saturday of con. It goes on from 7 to 11, and it's a lot of fun. It's something I think people should experience at least once in their DragonCon career. Maybe not your first year though, because that takes such a big chunk out of your Saturday evening. And if you really want to get the con experiences of seeing the really cool costumes and things like that, Saturday night is when people tend to wear their big fancy ones. Like it's the let me show off all the work I've done night between the Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt. So I would suggest not, if that's something you want to see. If you need a break, the aquarium's perfect for that.
Oh, yeah.
And the,
So
the aquarium is an event I don't recommend you sleep on either. Like if
No,
you
it's great.
know you want to go,
Get the
pick up
tickets as soon as,
Take
yeah.
it right away.
Yeah. Especially if you want to do the VIP level, and traditionally VIP level has, and you've gotten an open bar for 4 hours, and there's been
Worth the
different food.
price of admission itself.
So
You just sold it to so many people. Just
But
They
now.
also
pulled the
you get-
sushi directly out of the tanks, right?
You get
Oh.
food. That
Oh,
is not from
Darren.
you get food that's not from the snack bar, and to me, that is also
there's a whole separate
worth it.
lounge for VIP.
yes,
Yes.
with private views of. Some
I was
of the
always
larger
wondering what the
tanks.
Maui was. Okay.
I went to the aquarium for the first time last year.
I was
because
there with you.
As a panelist, I never knew when my panels were going to be. So I never could get the ticket because they had always sold out before I had my schedule. And somebody gifted me a ticket last year.
Aw.
Oh,
And I
that's
was
nice.
able, and I didn't have a conflict. So I went to the aquarium for the first time and it was great. And I had an 11:30 panel I had to get back for. And I was
Oh.
like, oh, it's a late night panel. Not a big deal. I'll drink a little bit. I drank more than I realized I drank. And then
Atta girl. Atta girl.
showed up to my panel to find that everyone else who was supposed to be on the panel canceled.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
I gave a somewhat drunk hour-long presentation on the history of Star Trek / fiction.
I bet people
Beautiful.
enjoyed the
Where's
hell
the
out of that.
recording? I want that.
Cheers.
right here. It's right here.
See, and Sue just said something that maybe a newbie who has been to conventions thinks, what? When was her panel? 11:30 a.m. and she was
11:30?
already drunk?
No.
No.
Dragon
Yeah.
Con has programming 24/7, even before the con officially starts now. Through Monday at like 7 p.m., I think is when we finish right now.
Yep.
Is that about right?
I think it's more like 5.
Well,
Yeah,
well, if
5,
you
7.
include like the dead dog. Okay,
The dead
no.
dog party.
Okay, no. If you're including dead dog, we're going
Dead Dog's
till
not
3 a.m.
public though.
Yeah, 3 a.m. on Tuesday morning, right?
True.
Like we say, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
No.
You were saying about the what we call watershed earlier, the 7 p.m. where things get a little raunchy, or 8 p.m. or whatever it is each year.
7
It's
Right.
not
Seven
it's not
ish.
just in costumes, it's also in programming.
Right.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
After that, it's I think it starts with the 8 o'clock panels.
Yeah.
Right?
But the
Is when you'll start getting adult programming.
And
And,
that
that's where
includes
you'll find
puppets.
someone talking about Kirk and Spock boning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But, but a lot of the real heavy adult stuff is no longer at Dragon Con.
Yeah, they've taken a
Panel-wise.
lot of the harder core material out.
Yeah.
and a lot of the
Dragon
Over the last 5 years.
Yeah, a lot of the non-family friendly stuff is going to be, clearly listed in the schedule and they'll card you at the door.
Yes,
Yes.
they do check ID.
yeah, and
Right.
also just because you see something's a puppet show after 8 o'clock, that does not mean it's family friendly.
No, not at all.
Because raunchy adults like puppet shows too,
Yeah.
Sometimes even
and
more.
they are amazing.
Avenue Q is your primer. If you can't handle Avenue Q, you can't handle an adult.
Oh, the
puppet.
puppetry slam is amazing, but you
Oh
have
my
to
gosh.
be you have to be over 16, I think, or 18
Yeah.
to get into that.
And you do get
You do. They carded William.
It's
you know?
Well, I
18
think-
because
what?
it's an 11:30. It's
Yeah.
from like
Yeah.
11:30 p.m. to 3 a.m. or
It's a
something.
3 a.m.
Yeah.
thing, right? And
Yeah.
just assume if it says cartoon or animation, that does not mean made for kids Saturday morning.
or like
No.
Twisted Tunes that happened
Mhm.
what at like 6:37. That has
Yep.
adult content.
Yep.
But I
Well,
think they do. I mean, they do a good job of denoting.
They
in the
do a good job of,
program
like,
Oh, they
what's
do.
adult
But you have to
content.
Oh, yeah.
read.
It'll be
Yeah.
noted in the app and the schedule.
Oh,
the
very
app
much.
comes
So.
out when? Everybody take it down.
Do
No, no,
need
no.
to
Drink.
report
10 to
that.
14 days before.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that in the newbies group.
No, we don't.
No, we do that here.
we drink to that here. Yes, we do that here.
10
Oh,
to
yeah.
14
Everyone
days
asks,
before the
"When's
con.
the app
Yeah.
coming out?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will not be. And sometimes even if we get it 10 to 14 days before con, don't consider it finished until
No.
you get to con.
No,
It's not-
do not
Consider it
do
finished
not.
until the
Yeah.
event's
No,
over.
no.
Yeah, I was going to
Don't
say, do not
consider-
consider any of the panels to be at the right times until
Any
you're
event.
sitting in the room.
Yeah,
And
and
Or-
even then,
Even
there's
that.
something
something
happens.
Yes.
And if somebody
classic
and if,
Look at
track?
Sue's panel. She
Yeah.
gave a drunk panel on Slash Fiction, and 3 other people who were supposed to be there didn't show, and that's
I mean,
okay.
it was
Yeah.
always supposed to be on Slash Fiction.
Yeah,
yeah, of course. But
Like,
but it's
luckily, I
yeah.
just know that.
And like you said, some people who you are expecting to see in the panels who are on the schedule, a lot of times sometimes they don't show up either, or
maybe they're
they have a
girl
conflict.
growing up in a plant somewhere next to Mike
Exactly.
and me in the Marriott. You don't know what's going on with them.
No.
Okay.
But I
Um,
think your best bet for updates is every day look around con for a little piece of paper. It's going to be a bright color called the Daily Dragon. That's going to give you the most up-to-date information on any schedule changes or cancellations or additions.
And
Exactly.
if you're hungover, the color will make your eyes squint.
Well, the
automatically.
year Stan Lee left early because he was having a heart attack and everything. So you're going to have guests leave right in the middle of the con for
Things happen.
Yeah.
Things happen.
It's life.
If you hang out in the classics track room, you might get an extra mini panel between panels.
Exactly. Oh, that's very true. Joe Crow, right
Happens all the
alone,
time.
is a panel on his self. So there you go.
there is
And,
that.
and a word of advice: ask him about Manimal.
Please,
He'll definitely talk to
ask
you
him
about.
about Manimal.
One
yeah,
bit of
well,
advice.
Manimal.
Left arm to get away.
Okay, one bit of advice from Jerry Chandler for family trips. If you can, stay in the city a few days after the con. Besides the rest, you'll discover you need things before hitting the road. Things like the Center for Puppetry Arts is wonderful to go check.
Oh,
Amazing.
so good.
It's
And
so
also once in a blue moon, go to the aquarium because they run specials. If you show your Dragon Con badge after the show, later for a full week after it, they will give you something special. Or even a
Puppetry Arts
discount.
does a special as well.
Yeah,
where if you
they
go
discount
during
your
con-
admission.
Yeah, during con days, because after we saw the parade a few years, and they started doing the traveling Jim Henson movie tours, we started
Mhm.
using parade time to go get our discount at Puppetry Arts and like go walk through the labyrinth or see. the
Oh,
Dark
it was
Crystal
amazing. Dark
exhibit.
Crystal, exactly.
Yeah.
It was
In
awesome.
fact, there started the Puppetry Center for Puppetry Arts has also started having events that are tied to Dragon Con. It's not as well known as the aquarium yet, but I think the first year they did a labyrinth themed ball for an
Mhm.
anniversary.
Right.
And the
Oh,
most
yeah.
recent one was Dark Crystal. And those are either Thursday or Friday
They're
night. I'm
Thursday.
sorry, I forget.
Yeah, they're
It's
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
always busy Thursday because of the newbies group.
Right.
Of course.
They want to get
But-
everyone over there before we start drinking. That's why it's on
It's,
Thursday.
it's a fundraiser, I believe, for the Center for Puppetry Arts, as well as like a event tied to the puppetry track.
Yes.
Mhm.
So if that's up your alley, definitely. I think it's puppet.org is their website.
Yeah, and I definitely tell people if they're coming in for Dragon Con and they have extra days to burn, before or after. Atlanta itself is a city that is steeped in history and has a bunch of tourist stuff and everything else. Like there's so much more to do here than just Dragon Con in the aquarium, and a little bit of research goes a long way in like trying to figure out, what else can you do while you're here, because it is a beautiful place.
Exactly. And just not Atlanta itself.
Yeah.
Outside of Atlanta, they've got an amazing botanical garden. They have some, Callaway Gardens isn't all that far. Or you have up in the mountains, you also have, Telus Museum up in Cartersville. There's plenty of things to do. And Georgia has Buc-ee's now, so it's even better. So
And you can also, go. There's movie tours around the Atlanta area, and
That's true.
A lot of our MCU movies, a lot of
Walking-
genre.
Walking Dead.
fandom.
Yep.
Hey,
I
you
thought
could go
they-
to a casting call for background actors.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Exactly. And you
could
too
be
can
in
be
a-
on TV.
You can be in a
I would
DCCW
say-
show.
if you're going to be over by the aquarium, you should do the Civil Rights Museum and the Coca-Cola.
Yes,
Yeah.
No,
yes.
And
Or-
definitely try Beverly when you're at the Coca-Cola Museum.
Oh yes, try Beverly.
No,
No.
don't do it.
Dr. Crusher
Into
is your
you.
friend.
The Human Rights Museum will be one you'll walk out of with a somber attitude, so you'll want that
Totally.
Beverly later to chase it down.
Exactly.
Yes, it's true.
Beverly, it's bad Beverly.
We always tell people to try some Beverly when when you go to the Coca-Cola Museum, ask for Beverly.
Wow.
It's always good that way. But yeah,
Wait, is that like when somebody tells you really need to try Malort?
yes,
Yes. Yes.
yes.
Yes.
I should bring you guys some Moxie.
Oh, I've had
We've
Moxie.
got plenty
I've
of that
had
on
Moxie,
this
yeah.
show, ma'am.
No.
I thought you brought the Moxie to Atlanta every year, Sue.
Moxie, I believe it's from Maine.
I've had
Originally. It's not as bad as Beverly, but it's pretty bad.
Yes.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, when you go to Maine and you try it and you go, oh, you're not from around here, are you?
No, sir, I am not.
So we got
it's awesome.
anything else from the watchers, the viewers, the listeners, anything?
Yeah, a couple different things I want to bring up real
No,
quick.
really?
One of the things with Dragon Con is try to have a friend to hang out with or meet a friend, somebody, because Dragon Con is in the middle of a very big city. Don't ever forget that. And it's between hotels, and especially at night, it gets very rowdy, very loud. And I noticed it especially this last year that, people were drag racing up and down Peachtree Street at 4 a.m. and stuff.
Yep.
And there were people, banging drums and all this kind of crap. And folks, there's also a lot of homeless in any big city nowadays. And Atlanta is with that. And they've closed the Mission that was the shelter downtown. And you're having people literally camping out right next to the hotels and stuff. And these guys aren't people cosplayers or not people who are drunk from the con. These are people who are down on their luck, and they're going to be trying to ask you for money or for favors or something. And it's better if you have a friend with you or somebody with you, or be in a group of people you've met at least to go to between the hotels and stuff.
Or at the very least, travel in a group,
Exactly.
especially late at night. Like if you want to leave a hotel to go to a different hotel, it's after dark. You know, people are very loud at Dragon Con, so you'll probably hear where they're going as they're talking. Oh no, we're going to the Marriott. No, we're going to the Hyatt. Follow them and stick with them if you can.
Yeah. Or,
And if
oh
you-
my God, I'm so drunk.
Oh no, not that. No, that means something else.
And as we
No.
as we tell newbies, you know, if you're there by yourself, or you're kind of shy and don't want to make a lot of friends, if you have a social anxiety kind of thing, if you're sitting in a line for a panel, or you go to a track room and you know you're there for a purpose, well, everyone else is there for that same purpose. Hello,
Mhm.
you've got new friends right there. Strike up a conversation. You know, hey, what was your favorite Star Trek episode? Oh, okay, well, you know, that kind of thing.
And they really are there for that purpose because
Yeah.
there's no room sitting.
Yeah. You
Rooms
can't.
are cleared after every panel.
That's
So
the
the
big.
people in that room are there for that panel.
That's the big difference between Dragon Con and a lot of like San Diego's or New York's, where people, you know, literally are sitting there, you know, getting there at 4 a.m. or something to spend the whole day
Camped out, yeah.
in Hall H or whatever. They don't do that at Dragon Con, and they've had issues with that in the past, that people tried doing that, and you know, and you're going to
Well, that's 'cause
find, yeah,
They're so used to it doing it at those other cons. I think Dragon Con allows it, and they don't read the rules. Read the rules, people.
Also,
And
if
there-
you
you
feel
can't also-
uncomfortable, like tell somebody in a track room, tell a volunteer, or if you see a line for something, go tell somebody in that line. Like, don't keep it to yourself. If something
Yeah.
is happening that's wrong, it makes you feel unsafe, always tell somebody.
there are people
if
there.
it's, you
There's
know-
people there to help you, no matter what.
Also,
Yep.
you know, if people are drinking, sometimes they lose their minds. You know, sometimes people forget how to
happens.
act, or just are a little bit too boisterous. It doesn't even have to be something threatening. If you're just uncomfortable, you know, there are ways to get out of the situation. A lot of people are at Dragon Con to help.
No, exactly.
Every Dragon Con volunteer will have the same lanyard on their badge, and every year it is a distinct color.
And
I
a
think
big
it was
ribbon
like-
usually that says
Yeah,
volunteer.
it's real thick. It says volunteer across it. They're all the same color. And if you need anything and you can't find security, you can't find whatever, you need help, grab any volunteer, whether they're on or off duty, they will help you.
And they'll know how to get you help if it's, you know, to get a true security person or first aid. I've seen so many gurneys coming into those hotels because first aid is needed or something, because people dehydrate or they
Yeah.
do something stupid.
Dragon Con is not the place to learn your limits for
No.
things.
No.
You're gonna be walking all day. You're gonna be naturally dehydrated. You have to know your body and listen to your body. And sometimes people don't do that because they're in this crazy party atmosphere, and we get it. You're excited you're at a con, but
Or
take
they
a
want to
minute.
show off. Don't show off.
No,
No, don't
No.
show
Out
off.
water.
And folks,
We've
Don't
seen
also,
try
it
to don't try
before.
to keep up with,
No.
with the other people around
No.
you.
exactly.
If
And
you-
also,
if you-
also
if you're
remember,
feeling it out.
no means no.
Yes.
Yep.
You have
Cosplay is
to-
not consent.
No, it isn't. Not at all. It doesn't give you a free pass for anything, folks. So
And,
Consent is
uh,
informed, enthusiastic, and continuous.
Yep.
As
exactly,
well.
I agree completely. So,
And also,
Don't,
if you
and
wind up
don't
in
take
trouble,
strange drinks.
yeah,
No.
don't take a strange drink from anybody.
No.
If
even if I
you do
offer
get in
you apple
trouble-
pie, don't take it. No.
I'll
find
take
a
it.
bar, yeah, if
Okay,
it's my
I'll
apple
take
pie,
it.
don't take it. It's true.
we'll,
True.
we'll all take that.
Don't take Darren's.
No, don't take mine. Don't
No.
take mine. I have nearly killed a man. It's true.
And
Go
Dude.
to a bartender.
You're the
I'm a
reason the
bartender.
only time I've ever blacked out.
Go
And,
to a bartender in one of the hotels. They are always serving people. You need help, they can help you.
And as a
Mm.
last resort, because I've had to do this before, because I was in a thick crowd and couldn't get to people I needed to help me, you can yell out security really loud at the top of your lungs.
Damn
If
straight.
nothing else, it's going to make the people around you who are crushing you in separate.
Yeah.
And give you a chance to break away or keep yelling it. I've had to do it. it works.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Atlanta knows what they have here with this convention. It's one of the biggest money makers of the year.
And they
So
don't
not
want to
only do we
ruin
have-
it. They do not
Yeah.
want to ruin it.
Not only do you have the volunteers and the hotel security, but you also got Atlanta police right there. Some are plain clothes, even undercover kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Just there to make sure nothing goes wrong.
I've seen cops undercover in cosplay
Mhm.
and everything. And so it's pretty amazing that,
That
they
being said, don't go up to someone who's cosplaying as a cop.
yeah, no. Yeah.
I do just want to say
That
though, I mean,
Walking
we're
Dead
talking
cosplayer is not there for you. They're gonna ask you, "How's my makeup look?" Okay, so
we're talking about all the things that could go wrong or
Mm-hmm.
the bad things that could happen, but I don't want it to scare anybody off.
No,
Right.
definitely
Is
not.
there
No.
these things are worst case scenarios.
They are few and far between.
Yes, have a
You
good
know,
time. We're
it's
not
just-
trying to scare you. We promise.
the
that.
main reminder is that you're not, although you might feel relaxed and easygoing or whatever because you're at this exciting nerd Mardi
Yeah.
Gras or whatever,
Nerdy
but you're
Gras.
still in the middle of a major metropolitan area.
And
Oh, yeah.
So
and
it's be aware, be vigilant.
Exactly.
it's a fantasy world at con, but the real world does like to rear its ugly head occasionally.
Mhm.
And
Well, Cassie O'Donnell on the Facebook group said, Casey, sorry, is
Casio.
Casey. I had-
Cassie O'Donnell.
this is my third one already, so it's okay.
Oh wow!
It's like
Have
and
some water. for a
Exactly.
favor.
I got water. Don't worry. It says Casey said consent is sexy, and it's true.
It is
It is very much so. I agree completely with that.
nothing sexier than hearing yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
okay.
That's what I call a TPK, total party kill. I win the night. Thank you.
Yes, you do.
You do, Darren.
The and the event is so overwhelming and so huge, and one of the things that I'm certainly guilty of every year, even though I know it, stay hydrated and eat something.
Yes.
Take care of yourself. Self-care during the convention is so important, and even more so as you get older for me. So
621 baby, 621.
621. That's the rule.
So if you see me at a convention, please, I will not be offended if you say, "Hey, have you eaten something? Do you need a drink?" Because sometimes I need to be reminded.
Oh yeah.
For
For
those
the-
of you who don't know,
Yep.
Michael, would you explain the 621 rule, please?
621 rule is really simple. In a 24-hour period, you need 6 hours of sleep, preferably continuous.
Yes.
Two good meals, preferably with vegetables, and at least one shower with soap. Axe body spray does not count.
No. Febreze does
And-
not count.
With soap and deodorant, antiperspirant applied afterwards. Patchouli and Axe do not count.
Right.
No.
And running water is important too. Yeah.
Yes.
You might have to kick the person sleeping in your bathtub out of it to take
Out
the
of the
shower.
bathtub to take a
Yeah.
shower, but that's fine.
Well,
They're
I
paying
would
for the
also
water
just point
bed.
out that there's the people who maybe they just don't want to shower every day, skin issues or what have you. There are now
Yeah.
companies that do make shower wipes.
Yes. Oh,
You know,
very
they're,
much so.
They're made geared towards athletes
Mhm.
or people who are taking long trips and not going to be near facilities.
Mhm.
There's lots of ways that you can freshen yourself up.
Oh,
keep
because
going.
some of the worst thing is being stuck in the sky bridge behind somebody who has not showered for days.
I carry a small little disposable deodorant, travel deodorant with me in my cargo shorts around con. Just because I know I'm going to be sweating more than on a normal day.
Yep.
Yep.
I know I will because I'm going to be around all the body heat packed in these places. I'm going to sweat naturally.
Oh, and
You know,
bring your patience too, because you're going to need it to get food at the food court
You're gonna
or
need
to
for
get
everything.
it.
Everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
there's
there's
a lot of hurry up
85
and wait.
There could be up to 85,000 people there. You're going to need patience.
Yeah.
Bring your flexibility. Bring your
Yeah.
flexibility.
Semper Gumby, always flexible.
Things you can plan every minute of your day, and those plans will change. Something
Oh, yeah.
will cancel, something will get rescheduled. You might not feel like walking to the Sheridan. Things are going to change. Have backups. Schedule your my biggest tip when I mean we're months out from the schedule now, but my
Drink.
biggest tip when scheduling is to
I'm
put
out.
in your meal times. Take that
Yes.
time and put it on your schedule to eat and to rest because you need it. It is not possible to do everything at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
There are 40 plus now fan tracks.
Yeah.
Each of those tracks is programming the entire convention. You can't do 40 things at once.
Oh, and you're going to need moments to decompress every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There's going to be times, or if you don't come Monday, you are going to be dead to the world.
Yeah, you'll be dead. That's why we
Well,
have
also, you
a
will-
drop dead party.
You'll just also be miserable and not get the full enjoyment out of the
Yeah.
con that you could.
Exactly. And there's so much to enjoy of it. Think of Dragon Con basically as 40 small cons under one big roof. And that's the best way to put it. And it's, as we say, it's basically 5 hotels, but now we also have America's Mart, where the vendor room, we have 3.5 floors of vendors, and then you have the
Artist Alley too.
Artist Alley is up there, the comic book track is up there, the gaming track is up there, and I'm sure, knock on wood, hopefully they'll be lifting a lot of restrictions and everything. They'll be opening it fully back up again this year and everything. So
Or
We also have the art show.
We can ease back up to full capacity.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
No rush.
Right.
No,
No
rush.
And,
I still want to be able to walk around in the vendor hall and
Yeah,
actually see
seriously.
things.
we still haven't even mentioned the dance parties every night.
no,
Kids can go until 3 in the morning.
Or longer.
or
Yeah.
longer.
Longer.
And there's also lots of Facebook groups out there for different fandoms. Have meetups and parties throughout the day and evening as well. Yeah, there's just no
There's
2 years
sort
are alike, no 2 days are alike. It's a different con every time.
No, I loved it last year. They had the gaming bar open right across from Peachtree Center, and it was the free video games and everything.
Mhm.
And it's the old 80s games and pinball
They
and
had
everything.
Gauntlet.
I know, it was awesome.
Blue Valkyrie was about to die.
Yes.
Did you shoot the food?
Elf shot the food.
No, and it was fun because I went there with Judy and Rosalind, Mike's wife, and we were there, and it was just, they were just like, wow, this is awesome. And and then Rosalind said, I think I saw pinball machines like this in pictures before. And
Wow.
so and it's like, oh god, I feel old.
There's so many things that make me feel old, but I still like going to Dragon Con as well. And we hope that everybody watching this and listening to this show will go to Dragon Con too. We want to see you there.
Yeah.
If you have any questions whatsoever, if it's your first time, if it's your 20th time,
There's
if
going to
it's
be
your 25th
questions.
time, you have questions, go to the newbies group. You can ask them at any time. They're always very helpful there. And we'll have a link to that group in our show notes. And also, you can also ask us if there's a question that we didn't handle in this episode. Please feel free to write to us, and we will be glad to answer that as well. But I think,
And Mike, what is the email address that they write you at?
it is feedback@dragonconreport.com.
Good
I was
idea.
getting to that. But now we are now drawing to a close this second episode of the 2022 Dragon Con Report, which we have recorded live in front of a Facebook group. Thank
Our
you
first
so
time being live, folks. This is pretty
Yes.
good for us.
So feel free to let us know how we did.
Jen has-
and
Jen has
Uh,
something.
You have you but for those who watched the live, when this episode goes up as a podcast, won't there be a few bonus segments in that episode?
not this time.
Oh,
Not
not
this
this time.
No, we're
Next
not.
time.
We're not that prepared.
Oh,
We're not that far.
I
that'll
thought
be,
I heard
that'll-
y'all talking about it before we went live.
That'll
Sorry.
be
Our
starting.
first-
That'll be starting next
Next-
time. I believe.
that's next
Our
month.
first bonus segment is going to be all about how Tony keeps his lock so luscious.
Wow. Oh, and a reminder, we have nothing to do with Dragon Con. We're not
Nothing at
official.
all.
No.
No,
No.
we have a lot to do with it. We're just
We
not
do,
official.
but not
Yeah, we're not officially.
We're not officially there, right?
Yes.
Right.
The same disclaimer goes to the newbies group. We are not an official part of con. So
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, so let's wrap it up. Big shout out to our station crew. Thank you, Sue and Michael, for joining us on this first ever Facebook Live. Thank you guys so much.
thank you.
Where can people go to find the newbies group?
If you search Facebook for Dragon Con Newbies, you will find us. We have a page and a group. The group is the place you want to go. The page isn't updated very often, but we have two very simple questions when you stop by. So just make sure you answer those, and you can join the other. What are we now, about 5,000 people or so in there.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a mix of newbies, like most of the people we expect to be listening to this, and veterans as well. Because once you go to the con, your experience, we want you to stick around and share that knowledge with somebody else. So
Exactly. You'll become the expert, basically.
yeah.
Now,
we
is
do
there?
have a moderated posting turned on, but we expanded our mod team last year. So somebody should see any question that you have in a matter of, not a couple hours, maybe tops. And that's, we mostly keep that turned on so you don't get a million sunglasses ads.
All right. No, absolutely.
Right.
Yes. So necessary these days. Is there anything else that Sue or Michael you'd like to promote personally while you're here?
Michael?
Just personally, my efforts for pop culture analysis and stuff are on creativecriticality.net. That's also where you find a lot of my week-to-week stuff, like the Doctor Who timestamps project, which is also cross-posted to ESO. So love it if you stop by there.
Awesome. Sue?
And if you want to hear me talk about Star Trek and slash fiction and lots of other Star Trek topics, you can hear me over on Women at Warp. That's womenatwarp.com, where we explore intersectional diversity in infinite combinations.
Nice tagline.
That is awesome.
Absolutely.
That works.
And for our regular crew, thanks, Jen, as always.
As always, it's a pleasure to be here and be a part of the team.
And Darren, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
And of course, Director Faber, thank you. Which none of this would be possible without you, man.
Of course, I'm
Especially
the
this live stuff.
Exactly. I'm the one who hits record and is reading all these different questions people are asking. And now people, of course, since we're ending the show, are asking all these questions and commenting,
Yes. I'm sorry. But your questions are written down, so we will actually look at them and try to address them in our next episode.
No lightning round?
Well, real quick, Jerry Chandler, with scheduling, I always tell newbies to try not really to schedule. You'll know the big thing you want to see, but you'll have fun when you give yourself time to explore and find things you'll love. Didn't know about it until you found them. Always give yourself some free time and explore the con time. And always emphasize, carry a bottle with water in it. Hydrate.
Yep.
That's
Pie.
So exactly. So definitely.
Or
Pie.
Or pie. Right.
Oh, in reference to pie, Jerry Chandler wrote, Mike's apple pie is great. Darren's will have you waking up a week later with a really bad headache.
Absolutely.
Consent is everything, isn't it?
As I mentioned before, we try to cover all we can with these episodes, including really great recipes for pie. But please, to keep up with the latest news, please check out the official DragonCon website, social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the Discord. They're there. They're always there. All the fan tracks are active on the social medias as well. So please, and also join the DragonCon parties, meetups, and more on Facebook. We will post all the stuff there as well. We are a proud member of the ESO Network, and we have a TeePublic store filled with all kinds of cool stuff, including a very cool design for the DragonCon Report podcast. There's a link for that in this episode's show notes, as well as at the top of the ESO Network page. ESO Network also has a Patreon page. Thank you once again, all patrons. We appreciate it. You can help support our show by leaving a review on whatever you're listening to or watching us on. So please feel free to do so, or email us at feedback@dragonconreport.com. Thanks for watching and or listening. I'm your host, Mike Gordon. And as always, it has been my pleasure. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you at the con.
See ya. Bye. Oh, also go to the YouTube page. This is where the video will be living from now on.